Hello and welcome to 5 Super Nintendo games I enjoy playing. I've recently found an appreciation for the Super Nintendo. I say recently because I didn't actually play the Super Nintendo growing up. I was more of a 5th generation gamer. Systems like the Nintendo 64, GameCube, and PS2 were so popular at the time that I never gave the Super Nintendo a fair chance. One thing I love about this generation of gaming is that there's simple plug-and-play systems. You just pop in a cartridge and 60 seconds later you're playing the game. To me, this feels like how video games were really designed to be. I've put together a list of 5 Super Nintendo games that I've enjoyed playing recently. Hope you enjoy. Number 1 on my list is Donkey Kong Country. This list is in no specific order. It's just 5 games that I've enjoyed playing recently. I have a vague memory of playing this game as a kid. It felt oddly familiar when I played it for the first time. I think I played it in my cousin's house when I was like 5 or 6 maybe. I mean, it was a really long time ago. I've always been a fan of 2D platformers, so this is a pretty easy one to have on my list. There's something so relaxing about running screen right, playing as 2 monkeys desperately trying to get their bananas back. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to get my bananas back. All in all, the game is put together very well and easy to enjoy. That is, until you get to the first Kart level. I must have played through this level like 50 times before I beat it. It's called Kart Carnage. If you know, you know. For whatever reason, I had a really hard time getting through that one, but I felt really rewarded when I beat it. Definitely give Donkey Kong Country a try if you haven't already. I would recommend the game. Like I said, I didn't get into the Super Nintendo until like 2 months ago, really, but it's definitely worth your time. It's a fun console. You can tell Nintendo just put a lot of care into this game, and there's a reason why they've been making remakes of this game recently. It's because it's a fun game to play. If you already own a Super Nintendo, you can buy this game for about $30, and I think it's worth it. I mean, it'll go from like $30 to $50. That'll depend on how the label looks, how the cartridge is, just the overall condition of the game, really. There's a reason why Donkey Kong has stood the test of time, and it's really cool to get back to some of the roots with Donkey Kong. I know this is not the first Donkey Kong game or anything like that, but it's seen as one of the best, and after playing it for a little while, I can definitely see why. It's a good game, it's a lot of fun. If you got $30 and a free Saturday, I mean, why not? I think it's worth it. So number 2 on my list really goes without saying. It's Mario Kart. Everyone knows Mario Kart, and it's one of the best-selling games worldwide. It's also one of my personal favorites. It was pretty cool to see where the game started, and just compare it to how Mario Kart is now. I mean, it's so much more advanced now. Also, crazy to see what Nintendo could accomplish with only a 16-bit console. I mean, I feel like it's ahead of its time. I found the game a little bit more difficult to control, but I think it's because I just wasn't really used to it. After a handful of races, everything felt fine. I just really needed to adjust to it. In my opinion, this is just as much fun as any other Mario Kart game, even if it doesn't look as good as like the new one on the Switch or the one coming out on the Switch 2. I'm also a huge fan of Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Kart 64. There's a reason why Mario Kart sells well. I mean, you take some of the most popular characters ever created across the history of video games, throw them on some carts, you can throw some turtle shells at each other and speed up with some mushrooms, and you know, you got a selling hit. I like how each Mario Kart game feels different. I think it would be boring if they all felt the same. If you're used to playing Mario Kart on the Switch and you're looking for something different, give it a try on this Super Nintendo. Also, if you own a Nintendo Switch and download the Super Nintendo emulator for free, they have a bunch of games up. This is one of the games they have right now, so if that's you, go check it out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time. This game is a classic beat 'em up. I can see why many people refer to this as the best game in the series. It's so much fun switching between the turtles and seeing their different attacks. They couldn't have been more straightforward with this game. After you beat Shredder the first time, he sends you back in time. That's as far as I've gotten in the game so far, but man, what a hit. Fun story, I remember going to Dollar Tree as a kid with my family and getting a pair of Sais. They're the things that Raphael holds. There was a brief time in our neighborhood where we would all get together and play Ninja Turtles, and I gotta say, they were jealous. I also used to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on like channel 3 way back in the day for all you old folks like me in your late 20s. I think they put a lot of care into this game. I mean, they really capture what the 4 Ninja Turtles are supposed to be. You know, you're the turtles in time, you gotta go beat Shredder. I was born in 1997, so I missed a lot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles craze that happened apparently in the late 80s and early 90s, but I still have a pretty big appreciation for the Ninja Turtles, hence why this game made it on my list. It's a simple game, but definitely an entertaining one, and I can't wait to play the rest of it. Mega Man X. This was the first game I bought for the Super Nintendo. The story is set 100 years after the original Mega Man. Someone named Dr. Light stores you away so that you can come back in the future and destroy the bad robots. I think that's the plot anyways. I couldn't believe how challenging this game was for me at first. It took me at least an hour to get through the introductory level. I know you're thinking that's probably a long time, but I hadn't touched a Super Nintendo in probably, 20 plus years, so gotta give myself some grace there. The game is made up of 8 bosses, and you get an upgrade to your buster after every boss level. There are also various upgrades hidden throughout each level. You can get your helmet upgraded, you can get more health, you can upgrade your original weapon, the X Buster. If you haven't played Mega Man X, make sure to check it out, it's worth it. So Goof Troop holds a special spot in my heart. Ever since playing this game, I've been having so much fun. This is one of the best local multiplayer gaming experiences I've ever had. I've been playing with my wife and we've been having so much fun playing through it. The game is simple. You play as Goofy or Max, both if you're playing co-op. You pick things up and you throw them at enemies. You solve tile puzzles to get items and progress through the map. And at the end of every level, there's a boss. Goofy can throw things harder than Max, but Max is a lot faster, so Max is better for getting through some of the time-based puzzles, and Goofy's better for taking out enemies. If you're Max, you have to hit the enemies 2 times, but if you're Goofy, you only have to hit him once. Pete and his son get abducted by pirates. Goofy and Max decide to chase after them, I guess, and they're gonna take out the pirates by themselves. And I guess they do, so good for them. And that's it. 5 Super Nintendo games that I've recently enjoyed playing. Let me know in the comments what your favorite games are, or if you think there's one I should check out. Thanks again for watching. Bye.